Welcome back into the Rounding Third podcast. I'm Nick, and we have Harrison with us right now. How are we doing, Harrison?
I am awesome. I'm so excited for this show. We had 100 episodes a couple weeks ago, and I'm more excited for this show than that one. So I'm good. Let's roll.
The same. We have a very special guest on tonight, and we'll get to him in a second. But first, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast. Okay. If you've been following our page this week, I have been blasting our special guest all over the place. I'm so excited to get to talk to him and relive this journey that Maine Little League went on. So without further ado, we are going to bring in Cam Beckwith from Gray-New Gloucester. Raymond too, right? Gray-New Gloucester Raymond Little League team.
There was no Raymond kids, but yeah, Gray-New Gloucester Raymond.
Gotcha. All right. So Gray-New Gloucester.
Yeah.
And so we started the district tournament. So you made the All-Star team. The All-Star team starts in your area. We start in the district tournaments. Who's your first game against?
Bonnie Eagle.
Bonnie Eagle. And you guys go out and win 3-1.
Yep.
So they stay immediately winners bracket. They go on and play Gorham, correct?
Gorham, yeah.
Yep. So they win 4-0 against Gorham. And then you guys just pretty much roll all the way to the championship game against Bonnie Eagle again, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. So they win Bonnie Eagle, and you guys are now going to states. What's the feeling from your team winning districts and going to states?
Just like stay calm, stay humble, and just keep winning.
Nice. Right? Pretty simple. I
love it.
I never won a Little League All-Star game. I was on a team. My team was never good enough to win a game. So
same here.
It's pretty awesome to get to
I think we
states.
made it to like the semis of the districts one time. That's as far as we ever made it. So
dude, not me. But anyway. All right. So you guys go to states, and who's your first game against? Remember?
How do you say it again? It's like weird.
Was it Ellsworth?
Yeah, it was Ellsworth.
So yeah, Ellsworth, you guys win 10-0.
Yeah.
You guys did not give up a single run in the states. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's a crazy run.
Wow.
Yeah. So states, they won 10-0, 6-0, and 12-0.
So through all this, Cam, what position are you playing?
First base.
Nice.
And then, so were you guys hitting rotary the whole entire time? Did you guys hit everybody like you did in Williamsport, or was the rules different during the states and district tournaments?
It's the same rules, so you have to hit everybody through the lineup.
Oh.
Gotcha. Nice. So you guys roll through states undefeated. You still haven't lost a game. And we head down to Bristol, Connecticut. And you guys play who right off the bat?
We play New Hampshire.
Yep. And you guys win 3-0 there. And then you play Massachusetts. How'd that first game against Mass go?
I scored the winning run at New Hampshire, but...
Oh, you did?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, throw that in there.
Yeah.
That's
off the
awesome.
catcher's interference, but...
Hey, it counts, man.
Yeah.
Was
Reese McGuire? Just wondering.
Yeah, right. So you play Massachusetts. You guys beat them 7-1, and you remain in the winners bracket there.
Was that the Canton team?
Yeah.
Yep,
good thing Sean's not here for this one.
Right. So then Massachusetts has to go through the losers bracket at that point, right? To get to you guys again in the championship.
They play New Hampshire, and I think it was a blowout by Canton, Mass.
Yep.
They pitched the big kid 99 Sullivan, and he looked pretty good.
Yeah. Who was your toughest opponent, do you think, going up through district, states, and New England?
Oh, Bonnie Eagle, 100%.
Wow.
Were they?
Yeah.
Wow.
What made them so difficult?
They had two really good pitchers. They hit well. They fielded well.
Dangerous.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then, so finally we get to the New England finals, and you guys beat Massachusetts 2-1.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. There were so many people there.
Yeah. How many people were there? Do you remember at the New England one?
Oh,
You had to guess.
probably.
How much?
Couple thousand.
Couple thousand. It's crazy.
Yeah, no big deal.
I don't think I've ever played in front of a couple thousand people in my career.
No. My whole life.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So you guys win New England, and give me the scene on the field. Like gloves in the air, hats in the air. Like how are you guys celebrating as a team?
So I was on the bench at that time, so I just threw my hat in the air. But
That's awesome. And you just rushed the field.
yeah, I was ready to like open the gate and rush to the field and just celebrate.
That's so awesome. So how long between New England's and your trip to Williamsport was it? How many days did you have to wait before you could get to Pennsylvania? Did you guys go straight down there?
Yeah, we had to wake up at 7 in the morning or 6 in the morning to get on the bus to 7. To go to 7.
That's
to go to
awesome.
Williamsport.
Wow. So there's no break. You win
No
New
break.
England's, you celebrate for a little while, get to bed early because you got to get up early and get on the road.
Yeah. They had the chartered bus in the parking lot at 6:30, loading up all their gear to go from Bristol to Williamsport that Friday right after the game. So win it at 9:30 at night, in bed, on the bus at 7, wheels spinning, headed to Williamsport.
Wow.
How do you even sleep that night?
Right.
There's no way
Right,
I'm
no
sleeping
way.
that
I
night.
think we stood up till 11, but
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, there's no way there's a lot of good sleep that night. And then so Nolan, as you kind of peek in from the background, so as dad watching this all go down, what is this like watching your son go through what every kid wants to go through?
Yeah, it was just so surreal. You know, the game was so tight that actually the go-ahead run was on second base. You know, in that final inning with 1 out, so it was super tense and super tight. And I mean, like I caught it, a little bit. And, the parents were just, so thrilled and just seeing those boys celebrate on the field, again, at the pinnacle of their, or, the second pinnacle of U sports. Wild, and it was, more than you could probably ever imagine.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I can't even put into words what that would feel like. But
Nope.
All right. So you guys are the first Maine Little League team to get to Williamsport since Westbrook did it in 2005. What did your team feel about accomplishing that and getting to Williamsport?
we were crazy because we haven't lost a game, and we were like the 4th team from Maine to make it to the Little League World Series, and the 2nd team from District 6 to make it to the Little League World Series, which was crazy. And it was just fun being there and just having the experience to go through all that. And I wanted to go to there last year when I was like there watching, and I never thought I would have made it.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you guys practice obviously down there before you have your first game, correct?
Yeah, we did.
So you got to go out onto the field before the game. Like, what is your feeling as soon as you step onto the field in Williamsport?
I picked up dirt and put it in my pocket first.
Good boy. Good boy.
Attaboy,
Yep.
good call. As you
Yeah.
should.
We started hitting fly balls, and people were pitching on the mound, and it was just crazy to see all the seats at the field and the hill, and it was just crazy.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot different than just seeing a set of bleachers on each side of the first to third baseline, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's a lot of people.
So you guys had a tough game in that first one. You played Pennsylvania, right? Pennsylvania.
Seattle.
Oh, Seattle. That's
Yeah,
right. My bad. Sorry.
Media Pennsylvania was the second game.
That's the second game. Yeah. And did you guys see a lot of off-speed pitches before you saw him, or did they read the
No.
scouting reports on you guys?
No, I think a couple kids threw curveballs as good as the kid that we faced against Seattle. And for travel, I like barely see curveballs like that good. So
Yeah. I think that's the biggest difference for me because, like, when I was your age going through Little League, like, we never saw curveballs. It was hit my fastball, and that's all it was.
It was
And
very seldom.
now a lot of the kids your age are throwing breaking stuff, so it's a lot different than when I was playing. That's for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's
All right.
amazing. And then so that first game, Cam, you guys are getting ready. You take the field. Are you nervous, or are you just like, it's just another game? We've been doing this all summer. What's that feeling?
once I stepped out of the dugout, I got nervous because there was a lot of people there. So it was just nervous.
Yeah, wasn't it like 22,000? I think they said
Yeah, for that game, I think it was just over 12.
12.
But the Pennsylvania game had the 20,500, almost 23,000 fans.
It's like going to Fenway.
Yeah,
Not far off.
That's crazy.
So do those nerves go away quickly, or do they stay with you for a little while?
They went away quickly, but against Seattle, I was nervous because I was the final out because it would have been a 10-run roll if I didn't get on or scored a run, and it just got me nervous.
Yeah, that's a big stage, man.
That is.
I would be nervous standing up there at this age. I couldn't handle that.
I know it's a lot. It's impressive.
Props to you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, best part of Williamsport for you. What was it?
Just like making it there and seeing how much people want to watch Maine try to get a win at the Little League World Series or even make it far was crazy. And then all the free stuff.
All the free stuff for sure. How was did you got to do some of like the ESPN promos and stuff like that, right? Like
Yeah.
I saw how was doing that?
It was fun. But I got a headache because all the flashing lights, but
Oh, too much stardom, huh?
yeah.
All that
Yeah.
paparazzi and attention.
Yeah. That happens with me when I step outside. I just get cameras in my face all over the place.
I know.
It's hard. It's a hard life.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You mentioned the free stuff, Cam. What are a couple of the best things you got?
ADV bat, the free ADV bat.
Got a bat. Wow.
The helmet was pretty cool.
That's
Glove.
Wow.
awesome. I know.
You're not just
right?
getting like, stickers and a program. Like you're getting some serious gifts.
That is awesome.
Wow.
All right. So the tradition in Williamsport is to go down the hill on a cardboard box, but it looked a little bit muddy out there. But the question is, did you get to go? Did you do it?
The coaches wouldn't let us.
Oh,
no.
come on.
I was walking around the complex and I saw this kid full on muddy. Hat muddy, pants muddy, or shorts muddy, jersey muddy,
Oh no.
and shoes muddy. And I was like, how are they gonna get in the car?
Oh man.
Good thing you're not doing his laundry, right?
That's so awesome. How was did you get a chance to meet any other teams like from different countries and stuff like that? How did that go?
I met Japan. They were really nice.
That's awesome. Did they any of them speak English or?
I think there was like 5 that speak English, but there was like ones that could like speak English but like talked like mumbly.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's awesome. It's cool to get that experience with teams from different places and their journey. I can't imagine how far they came.
Yeah, that's
to
a
get
trip.
there. Yeah.
So
That's
there's a
awesome.
question in the chat about food. So what's the food situation down there? What were you guys eating?
It's like there was a lot of things. Like they didn't have pizza. They had chicken tenders. They had spaghetti and meatballs, tacos. There was like for breakfast there was pancakes, waffles, eggs, bacon. Lunch there was probably like lunch they had grilled cheese and stuff. So the food was actually pretty good.
Nice.
Did you guys Oh, go ahead, Jared.
I was gonna say, were all the teams staying at like a hotel or two? Like, were you all in the same general area together?
We all stay in dorms.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
So there's two teams, like neighbors. They share the same bathroom, and we were with Asia Pacific, and I walked in the bathroom one day, and they were like full on. I don't want to say this. Butt naked, taking a shower, and it was an experience.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Anyways, all right. So
these are the stories only an insider can give you.
Right. I mean, we don't have these stories on the outside looking in. So
Right.
glad.
Got nothing.
All right. So we got another comment. It says Ken Hickson up here in the county was bragging you up when I saw him at a local eatery when you were playing the first game. So pretty cool.
Everybody I know was talking about the main team. That's all we talked about. What time the game was on, who was watching, where they were watching.
Yeah. I mean, it was great. When you guys got there, it was like, no matter what I had for weekend plans, I'm like, I got to go find them on TV somewhere. So you guys had so many fans rooting for you. It was really cool. You guys really unified the state of Maine, and even New England really had you guys rooting for you. So couple more questions. When you guys got home, so we're finally, well, let's start with the Major League game before we get home. So you guys did get a chance to see the Phillies and the Nationals. So you saw Bryce Harper. You saw Bryson Stott with that pencil bat. That thing was cool. Did you see that?
Awesome.
Yeah. So how was that game? How did you guys get tickets to that game, and how was it?
Oh.
Lost them. Hold on.
And we lost them. Hold on.
I think, yeah. We're going to have them probably close out and rejoin us. Yeah, this has been awesome listening to them talk about this experience. It's so cool.
I can't imagine being, 10, 11, 12 and playing in front of 20,000 people.
No, absolutely not.
There we go.
All right. Are you back?
Yeah.
All right,
Perfect.
good. All right, so go ahead.
We sat right behind home plate. We got free snacks and all that. I even got a batting glove.
From who? Do you know?
I don't know who, but he signed it and gave me a batting glove.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
This kid from the West got a bat.
Wow.
Like a full-on bat.
And
I got a couple signatures from Phillies and Nationals.
That's so cool.
I got an Alec Bohm card signed by Alec Bohm.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
Was there a lot of stuff for you guys to do like at that game? Did you guys get to interact with the players at all? Like other than getting autographs and stuff? Like did you meet them on the field or outside the field or anything?
We met him at Williamsport. That's where we met him.
Okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So they kind of visited you guys before their game.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Nice.
Very cool. So Dad, if you want to poke your head back in for a second. So you guys were gone for how long straight?
We left August 3rd to head down to Bristol. And then after the Bristol tournament, me and my wife are lucky enough to be able to work remotely. So we headed from Bristol straight over to Williamsport. Left home August 3rd, and we just got back August 21st at like 6 o'clock at night. So
Wow.
It was a long, unexpected vacation, but one we'll never forget for sure.
Right.
That's amazing.
That was the one thing I was like, me and my wife were talking about. It's like, all right, like our son just goes to the Little League World Series. I don't have 4 weeks vacation.
Yeah,
Like, how do the parents swing that? Like, I mean, luckily you guys were able to work remotely, but like, how do other parents do it? Do they like tag team it and go back and forth, or like?
Yes, some. So we sent the boys off Friday morning to Williamsport. Some went directly home and worked that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then returned for the Thursday game to at least get a half a week of work in. And check on the house and the dogs and the cats and everything else back at home, mow the lawn maybe.
Right.
Yeah, so it was a struggle, and luckily, every employer and everything was super understanding, and they were behind, the families as much as everyone. So it was super cool, and everyone just said, if you got to fire me, I'm going to see my kid play. So
Yep.
Right.
there'll be other jobs somewhere, I guess.
And I'm sure a lot of people were definitely understanding, like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for like the kids, even for the parents, even. Like, I'm sure a lot of people were understanding, but it was awesome. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing people don't realize is exactly it's the commitment the parents also put into this, because it's a lot of driving all over God's creation, and chasing the team to Williamsport. And thankfully, at least we're on the East Coast, so Williamsport's not like a 3.5 hour flight, but still.
Yeah, definitely could have been worse, a drive or a flight. So we're talking to one of the Australian parents, and they were like, "Oh, we flew into LAX. Had to stay in the airport for a night, then flew into New York, had to stay there for 3 nights, and then we finally flew into Pittsburgh, and then we still had a 3-hour drive to get to Williamsport. So
wow.
Yeah, we're lucky it's only an 8-hour drive.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yikes. And then the Media Pennsylvania team you guys played that final game, they were from like down the street, right?
Yeah, they were like an hour and a half away, and their fans came out in bunches, and there was 23,000 fans. The hill was packed, the stadium was packed. There was people outside that couldn't. It was just a wild atmosphere and super cool atmosphere for sure.
Yeah. That is awesome.
And so you guys, the Media Pennsylvania game, you guys lose a really tough one late, but you weren't done at that point. You played another game after that nobody really knows about, or no?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, we weren't able to make a schedule work.
Okay.
Typically, they do offer you a third game against an international team, but we just weren't able to make the schedule work.
Gotcha. And
everyone, kind of had to get home and whatnot. So, unfortunately, that wasn't in the cards for us. But that is, something that it's not really known. They do give you a third game, as to get down there. But
gotcha.
Yeah. All right, so the Williamsport part is all over, and you guys make the 8-hour journey home, and you get like a hero's welcome. I saw you guys out there signing autographs. You had a big parade. How was that coming home and seeing the support from everybody from your hometown and Southern Maine, or Maine in general?
It was great because they were all supporting us through our journey through Bristol and Williamsport and everything, and there were so many people like trying to get autographs and everything, and it was crazy.
That's so cool.
Superstars.
What was the best part of that day? Coming home, sleeping in your own bed.
Yep.
I'm sure that's so
wild.
Awesome.
So how do you? What are your plans for next summer? How do you top this one?
We're not gonna have a good as team as this year, but we're gonna try.
All right.
Absolutely.
I like it.
All right. Couple things before you go. I saw that Alex Verdugo is your best player. We talked about it a little bit before we started the show. But why is Alex Verdugo your favorite player right now?
Cause I like how he plays defense and has good sportsmanship and captains his team to win, and he wears 99.
Yeah.
Like I wear 99.
That's awesome.
Oh, the number. All right.
That's so cool.
Good choice. Verdugo's a good choice.
All right. Last question from me, unless Harrison any. What was your best overall memory from the entire summer? If you could pick one thing, other than going into the other team's bathroom, what was your favorite memory?
It was probably just hanging out with my friends and get to be here. And again, from like last year, I went here and I said, I'm never going to make it here. Look how good these kids are. And I made it. So
that's so awesome. That's
just
so amazing.
remembering this will be crazy.
Yeah. Well, I want to congratulate you.
Real quick, Nick. Real quick, hang on. So I got to know, what is the one thing that you will forever keep from this event? Is it the dirt, or do you have some other item you're going to always keep with you from this moment in time?
Probably my jersey and my hat.
Nice. Probably
So,
should get those framed up somewhere so you can hang them up.
right.
Love it.
Well, I want to congratulate you on such an awesome summer. You guys completely just gelled the entire state of Maine. It was really cool to see everybody pulling for you. I mean, my social media feeds was just like, go G&G, go G&G, like for forever. And it was just really awesome to watch you guys, watch your journey. And you guys made us all proud seeing you in Williamsport and living out a dream that all of us could only dream of. So it was really cool to see you guys play and watch you play. So congratulations, Cam. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
congrats.
you so much. And
Thank
yeah, I couldn't echo it more. Like, it was just a surreal experience when they won the regionals, and my phone just blowing up, text after text, and like we talked about before, just reconnecting with people. Most probably don't know. I played both baseball at St. Joe's with both of you guys, and reconnecting with you guys and reconnecting with other former players and former high school guys that I coached, and just family and friends. Reaching out to my dad, who's the Beckwith kid on the main team. Oh, that's Nolan's son, and so it, like you said, it did just unified a lot of things. I kind of compared it right or wrong to a funeral. You always want reach out once a funeral happens or a death happens, but in this instance it was such a super special occasion and a positive occasion, but just reconnecting with you guys, and I appreciate your time and getting Cam on here, and it's super cool.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
Like
this is awesome.
like I said, like I was geeking out the whole time when I found out that Cam could come join us, because I wanted to hear all about it. So thank you for your time, Cam.
Yep.
And thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing your experience with us. And this was such a great time.
Yep.
So
We had a lot of fun watching you guys. It was a lot of fun for us to be able to root for somebody local and watch you guys play, and you did the state very, very proud. So congrats.
Thank you.
all right. We'll see you a lot, and good luck next year, buddy.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, Cam.
Wow, that was awesome.
That was wild. Let's think about it for a minute. Can you imagine being 10, 11, 12, however old some of these kids are, 16 if they're on some of the foreign teams, and you step onto that field to take your position with 20,000 people watching you? I mean, I didn't like being in a school play in front of 100 kids. Forget about putting me in front of 20,000. I mean, come on.
Holy that's what
cow.
I mean. Like, the town I was from, I was right next door to Cam. I grew up in Wyndham, but it's like we had a bleacher for the set of parents on the first base side and a set of bleachers on the third base side. Sometimes,
Right.
I mean, my goodness, 20,000 plus people. I can't even imagine, dude. I'd have to change my pants every inning. I would.
I mean, I was, when I was 16, my AAU team, we won the New England region, went to the national tournament down in Orlando. We played at the Braves spring training complex at Disney, in the stadium, on the grass, like you could have played golf in there. And we had like 5,500 people in the stands. And that was a lot of people. And I'm 16. So like, I didn't care at that time. I wasn't 11, but
Right.
like that was a lot of people. It was in a stadium that sat 8,000 or 9,000. It was a spring training stadium, 5,500 people. And it seemed like a lot. That's a quarter of what he just played in front of during the Little League World Series on a field that's half the size. Like that's got to be amazing. It's nothing but a sea of people
On a field that's world famous too. Like, if there's nobody there and you step out on that field, you're already nervous.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, no one's watching me. I'm taking regular BP and my heart's pounding a mile a minute. Like,
yeah, I mean, I just can't imagine pulling up to that field for the first time, walking out there. Like, that's like a Field of Dreams kind of moment.
So cool.
Wild.
I mean, that run, I did not realize this until I started doing research. They didn't give up a run in states.
That's scary. And I love the fact
6-0, 12-0.
And I love the fact that he thought Bonnie Eagle was the most difficult team they faced.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, all right. So Maine brought some good teams to the table.
Yep. And that just goes to show like the coaching that's there. That I don't think the country really understands what type of baseball we have here in New England. Like, we have a lot
we're covered
of guys
in snow 9 months.
Well, I mean, that doesn't help. But the brand of baseball up here is getting to a higher level. Like, we're getting there.
Well, and let's be serious. Awesome. Like, we're used to playing on fields that are beaten up, pitted. There's no fences on half of them. Like, I mean, we're used to playing in tough conditions. So if you can manage the hops on a field that plays like a parking lot, Imagine what it looks like when you get on a good field like Williamsport or Bristol or
Yep.
it's this team. They were so good throughout. They were rock solid. I know game one for them was a little tough, defensively a little tough. You could see the nerves. They were very tight early on in that game. Then they finally relaxed. That game against Media was a fantastic game that they lost a heartbreaker at the very end, but they played well. They were tough. Typical Maine. They scratched, clawed, and fought, and didn't quit.
There's actually a quote, I'm pretty sure, by the Vanderbilt head coach that says that he comes to the Northeast and recruits because he goes, if you've seen what these guys have to play baseball in, you would understand their toughness. And I want that toughness on my team.
Yeah, 100%.
And it definitely shows. I mean,
totally makes sense.
It was just so cool to see everybody so unified.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it would have been back in 2005 when Westbrook made the tournament.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that because I was in college, I think, when that was going on.
Yeah, and social media was still fairly young, and it wasn't quite the thing that it is now. But just to see everybody unified with that little league team, and that team was awesome. It was so cool to watch.
Yeah, very cool.
I don't know how I feel about the Rotary lineup, though. That's something that we can talk about later. Where everyone hits, I'm not sure. I meant to ask Nolan how he felt on that.
Yeah, because the way it used to work in Little League is you had to play 2 innings and get 1 at bat, right? So you had to sub kids out later in the game. But it sounds like the Rotary lineup makes sure everybody hits. So defensively, you can just kind of make a replacement when you need to.
Yeah, I think it's almost like softball in that case. Where like old man softball, grown man's Little League, I call it.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on the fact it was a Rotary lineup until like late in the first game. I'm like, oh, like that kid's not in the field. Why is he hitting? I'm like, oh, it's I get it.
Yeah, it's interesting because unfortunately in that first game, Maine only got 1 at bat apiece. So like your top of the lineup guys, who are your generally your best sticks, are only getting 1 at bat. They're only getting 1 crack at it. And I mean, we can talk about the umpires. I get their volunteer, but when they're calling a strike that's 8 feet outside the strike zone, and you take that 1 at bat away from that kid in Williamsport, like you've kind of tainted that for that kid. You took that at bat away. Like I get it's a Little League strike zone. It's supposed to be bigger, but I mean, some of them are like, come on, dude. You can't hit that with a telephone pole.
No, there were some calls that were bad. And Nick loves to get on umpires, but boy, he was fired up. He was fired up at the Little League umpires in that first game.
I mean, there was a couple of them that were like really
bad.
Blatant. And there was some down the middle that he called balls. And I was like, okay. I'm like, I feel at that level, I mean, you are at the highest level for Little League at that point.
Yeah.
If you want to honor volunteer umpires, which I think you should. I have met many people that have volunteered on the Little League level, are fantastic people.
Yeah, God bless them.
And they deserve all the recognition.
Yep.
And being recognized in Williamsport is something. But at that level, I believe it's time to go to a sanctioned umpire at that point. The stakes are too high. The kids, like Nolan said, the parents have sacrificed a lot to get their kids there. And you can still honor the umpires that deserve to get recognized there. You can bring them down to Williamsport for free, give them the banquet, the awards dinner, like roll out the red carpet for them. That's not what I'm saying. They should be recognized. Absolutely.
100%.
But at that high level of it, and I mean, look at these kids. What that kid from, was it Chinese Taipei throwing 80? The Shohei kid?
He was throwing gas.
Whatever. He was like, I mean.
And these kids are throwing breaking balls that like these umpires have not seen. Like a couple of those kids threw these like wipeout slider or curveball type pitches they were nasty. And at 46 feet, that break is hard. It's hard to read because it's such a short distance. And then you throw 80 miles per hour from that distance. It's like throwing 100.
Dude, you couldn't give me a tennis racket, and I still wouldn't come a foot within that.
I would have been 3 swings and done.
Yeah. I am glad that Little League did make the adjustment a few years ago to go to replay. That's great. Amen. But I do think it's time for sanctioned umpires when you get to Williamsport.
Or at least a grading system that like brings only the best out, something like that.
Yeah.
But that first game, I mean, there were a couple of games that were tough, and I saw some reels of people that shared like some of the really bad calls from the League World Series, and there were some bad ones, but it's a struggle, to your point, to be at that level and having so many questionable calls when, there's got to be a better way to do it. But to your point, amen. God bless the umpires of Little League, because 90% of those guys that are umpiring games out there don't have kids in baseball anymore. These are true volunteers that have no reason to be out there other than the fact they love the game and want to see the kids play.
Yeah.
So,
and I get that's the whole principle of what Little League baseball is all about. Yep. And I'm all for that. But when we get to this higher level stuff, I think it's time, because like I said, if I'm only getting one at bat, like I want that at bat to count.
Yeah. I don't want to lose it.
I don't want to be called out on a ball that's 8 feet outside, and then that's my only at bat for the tournament. And then, I mean, the chances of my team coming back the next year is slim to none.
It's long shot.
Yeah. So I kind of hate that aspect of it. Yeah. But you know what? I mean, whatever. Not to put negativity on that, but
no,
it was just really cool to talk to Cam, talk to Nolan. So thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to live vicariously through you for about a half hour and really take that in.
Awesome.
that was, I think that's my highlight of us doing this entire podcast in the last 2 years. Like,
I'm right there with you.
Joke. No joke.
There's never been an episode I've been more excited for than this one.
That was great. I can't, but all right. Let's jump right to the Little League Championship, because this game was wild.
It was nuts.
Wild.
It was nuts.
So we'll just start right in the bottom where Curacao ties it with a grand slam. So they make it, I think it's bottom of the fifth. No, top of the sixth, right?
No, it was pretty sure it was in the fifth. I want to say it was top five.
Top five. So Curacao ties it with a grand slam.
And the kid goes oppo to hit it. It was crushed.
Makes it 5-5.
Yeah, California's cruising, it looks like. This kid hits a granny oppo, and it's completely changes the outlook of that game.
Yeah. And then West gets up bottom of the sixth. I think it was the first pitch of the inning, right? At least the first.
Yep.
Dude just turns on it and ends it. A walk-off World Series championship win. I mean, insane.
Talk about a moment that you've lived in your backyard a bazillion times as a Little League baseball player, to then go out and do it, to hit that. And not only that, but that was a no doubter. Everybody on the planet knew it was gone because it was smoked.
That was crazy. Yeah, Luis Lappy.
That's a big boy. Yeah, Lappy hit it. He's a big boy, and he hits home runs a long way.
Yeah, that was insane. But so just to cap off a crazy Little League World Series, I always love this time of year. I think it's really cool.
I love it.
And you just see the talent from the other countries too come in, and you're just like, wow, this kid's got it.
Oh yeah, I mean it's such a highlight for baseball to see all the young kids that are playing baseball at a super high level. And I've honestly, I love the Little League World Series and the College World Series, because these are, you're playing for the love of the game. You're playing for your chance to move up to the next level and move on. And you're not playing for millions of dollars. You're playing because you love it. And it's so fun to watch these kids, because when they react, it's a true reaction. It's all emotion, raw emotion. And the smiles, the laughs, the moments where they kind of put their head in their hands and they feel it, it's all real. And they play a passionate baseball. And boy, was this was Maine being in it helped. I watched probably more than I have in years, but this was a really good Little League World Series in terms of the different teams. You had teams that California that could mash. You had other teams that were a lot scrappier. You had a really interesting mix. You had you had no hitters. You had all kinds of stuff going on down there.
Yeah, it's so awesome. But all right, we will move on to MLB news for this week, and we got a few things here. The big story here is Shohei Ohtani with the slight tear in the UCL. He did hit after he was diagnosed with the UCL tear.
Yep.
First reports came out saying that the Angels were pretty much just riding him, and that's where the arm fatigue came in. And they're saying maybe the UCL tear was actually part of the arm fatigue. And then I just said fatigue. That was weird. Fatigue.
It's all good.
And then and then reports came out and said, like, no, actually, it was just arm fatigue. And then now he's got the tear. I don't really know who to believe. I mean, obviously, if you're the Angels, you're going to ride the best player in baseball for as long as you can.
For sure.
Because you're not sure if you're going to have him next year. But what does this UCL tear do for Shohei Ohtani's contract in the offseason? Does it change it? Does it affect it? Does it change its length? Maybe not so much the dollar sign, but maybe the length. Like maybe he just takes a 2 or 3 year contract until he's completely healed, comes back and pitches for that year, and then get, because 2 or 3 years, he's still 30 or 31. And then maybe he gets the big signing bonus there, or not signing bonus, but big contract then. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so just to back up real quick on Shohei, I want to say we were talking about even on the show back in, I want to say it was like middle of June, they were already talking about him feeling fatigued. And we were talking about, is the pitch clock and what's happening. So they started to give him a little bit more rest. So like leading up to the All-Star break, they gave him the break before it and after it. They moved him to 6 days a little bit before that. So this fatigue thing has been going on for a few months. The Angels were pushing him to get seen. He didn't want to. And then now we're here, which is kind of an interesting spot to be in, given the fact that it sounds like the Angels were trying to get ahead of this, and maybe he was either thinking he was better than he was, or maybe he realized there's a problem and just thought he could get through the season, so it didn't impact the contract. But I do think his contract gets impacted by this, and somebody's still going to come in and throw a crazy offer at him. But I could see this being one of those, hey, we'll give you your 10-year crazy deal, but we want a chance at the end of year 3 where if you're not doing something, we've got an out. There's got to be some way to kind of get out of this or resize it. So I see teams, obviously the level of tear. Is it Tommy John? Is it something else? I think the path forward is going to determine how that's impacted. But I think somebody's going to make him a crazy offer still. But there's going to be language in there around injuries or games started or games pitched, where if he doesn't hit certain thresholds, they've got a way to either restructure that contract or maybe even void it. So if you get a couple years down the road and he just can't pitch anymore, you're not going to pay him like he's both anymore. You're going to find a way to get that contract right-sized. Yeah.
My thoughts is you just make Shohei Ohtani a closer. This is his second Tommy John surgery.
Right.
I was talking to my buddy John Flanders, and he actually brought this up, and I was like, you know what? Like, that's not a terrible idea. He could DH, play the outfield, and then just come in and throw max effort for 3 outs and call it a day. That might be the road that Shohei has to go on. Like, are you gonna miss him starting games? Like, yeah, you do. I mean, he's a dominant pitcher. Look at the year he just put up.
Yep.
But if the options are Shohei doesn't pitch again or he comes in and closes, I'll take closing Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, I mean, or maybe he's forever on a pitch count, and he's going to be the kind of guy who, he'll give you 20 starts and he's going to give you 75 pitches, and when he's done, he's done. If he makes it 3 innings, he makes it 3 innings. He makes it 6, he makes it 6. Yeah. I do think there's a solution there where he could still pitch in some regard, whether he's a starter on a pitch count, whether he's a closer, whether he's just a middle relief guy and he just comes in when he's needed because he can throw gas. He's, maybe high leverage wouldn't be good for the arm. I don't know, but there's probably a solution there. But I do think that there'll be a situation here where a team comes forward and says, hey, look, we're willing to bet on you, but if you haven't made 55 starts at the end of 3 years, we're going to resize this contract because you're clearly not a pitcher anymore. I think there's going to be a language like that in there where there will be an out, but somebody is going to go in unless there's some devastating news that his arm is toast and the second Tommy John can't be successful or something. Somebody's going to pay him like he's both and worry about fixing it later if he's not.
Yeah.
But it goes back to, I mean, second Tommy John, he's had fatigue trouble for the last about two plus months. Like, this is, the durability begins to become a question mark with him. Is he really built to do both? Now, he's a DH. He's not throwing the ball a lot in the field, so it's not like he's wasting his arm. But it's it is a lot to do both physically.
Yeah. It was that 9-inning shutout against the Tigers, that one hitter.
Yep.
Ever since then, he's had the arm fatigue. He's had the cramps. He's had the he's had the issues. And then when you're fatigued, your body is making up the difference. And,
Yep.
you're putting extra stress on joints that shouldn't be putting stress on because you're tired. Yeah, I mean, it stinks. It sucks. He was having every year we're like, there's no way this guy could have a better season than he's having this year. And then the next year he comes out and he does. And then we're like, well, can't be any better than this. And then it is. And we're just like, what?
It took Aaron Judge setting the American League home run record to take the MVP away from him. And Shohei's on pace to have his best offensive season ever, as well as being a very effective pitcher on the mound, one of the top 5 pitchers in the American League. So, he was having an all-time season. And he'll still finish up having an all-time season, even if he doesn't pitch for the next 4 weeks or 5 weeks of the season's left. It won't matter because he's already so established. But it is it's a shame to see a guy going into what could have been a ridiculous free agent season for him, with that kind of injury lingering. And I'll be curious how the market responds. I still believe somebody's going to throw a crazy contract in at him with some kind of injury language in it, where if he can't pitch anymore, they'll resize it. But I think over the next few weeks, when you actually get the true diagnosis and the plan forward for him, you'll see how teams actually react.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a big old question mark right now.
Yeah, it's worst time in his whole life to get hurt.
Yeah.
Worst time.
Absolutely. On the other side of that coin, Aaron Judge finally comes back from his stubbed toe and hits 3 home runs against the Nationals. Yep. This dude's done nothing but hit bombs when he's on the field. Like I said, when he's on the field. This stat was crazy. I put it on our page. He's like 27 home runs this year, and which is tied for 3rd in the AL or something like that.
Yep.
But games played, he's 187th.
Yeah. He's got 27 home runs in 72 games or something crazy like that.
I mean,
it's like Mike Trout last year hitting 40 in 120 games.
Yeah.
It's silly. The dude is still going to have, he may even hit 40 home runs. Who knows?
Yeah.
And he'll probably do it in 100-ish games. It's bananas.
I got into it again, silly me publicly commenting on a Yankees post. I was just cool. Can we settle down? Yes, 3 home runs. He's great. He's coming back from a stubbed toe that he should have come back from, a month and a half ago. And let's cool off a little bit. It's the Washington Nationals. I mean, it still doesn't matter. The guy could hit a home run in every at bat for the rest of the year. The Yankees are not making the playoffs. They're not. It doesn't matter.
No, they're a mess.
It doesn't matter how hot Aaron Judge gets. Look, he's an amazing player. He really
crazy.
is.
Top 5 player in baseball, probably.
Easily.
When he's healthy.
I know I said that he stubbed his toe. He actually tore a ligament. I get it. Get off. It was tongue in cheek, but I mean, it just seems like Giancarlo swings the bat. He's out for 6 months.
Well, did you see the stats on him I shared on the page the other day? How many games he's missed? The Yankees have paid $50 million in missed games. It's that, you got Judge is going to miss, almost half the season. Stanton's missed a chunk of the season, and when he's been there, he's been ineffective. This Yankees team has real problems. They need to tear this thing to the ground and start over. You need to keep Garrett Cole, Aaron Judge, and then maybe just push the reset button after that.
Yep, I fully.
You've gotten nothing from Rodon, who's got this back injury that may be a more permanent thing. You've got Stanton is a lost cause. LeMahieu had a good game a couple nights ago, but that's one of very few. You got Volpe, who's promising. Rizzo, he's a shell of himself, and apparently has been concussed for months. You got nothing to work with there. That team is a mess. Yeah. Harrison Bader doesn't seem to make any difference when he's and he doesn't play very often.
Yeah. Everybody was just it was kind of like the Ohtani fatigue for me last year. It was MLB is Ohtani in your face. Ohtani, I get it. Ohtani is top notch. He's the best player in baseball. I get it. And Aaron Judge came back, and it seems like MLB is doing that. It's Aaron Judge. Yes, we get it. And this guy's special. He's amazing to see. But he's been out for 3 months. He should be rested. He should be hitting home runs. That's right. That's what he does. Let's just pump the brakes. The Yankees are the Yankees. They stink. It's the worst record that they're possibly going to end with since like what was it, like the 70s or something like that. They're just
it's I think it's even further back than that. It's bad.
Putrid. It's really bad.
It's bad. But, and then as we're on the Yankees topic, you've got the bench clear with Tampa this weekend.
Yeah.
Plunking at Rouse Arena. So it's one of those things like, they just, I don't know. We can rail on Aaron Boone and the fact that team seems like a total lost cause and that they're a hot mess, but it's bad. I mean, they're picking fights with the Rays when they're not even in contention. And what they didn't need was the Rays to wake up, because the Yankees got pounded, as they should have.
Yeah. So Cam's mom just sent us a comment saying thank you so much for having Cam on. Made his day. Asked him to join. It was really cool having him on, just like I said.
Awesome.
So I mean, that was great.
It was probably more fun for us than for him, to be honest.
Oh, for sure.
I was so pumped when you told me he was going to do it.
Yeah, it was so cool. So, all right. So on the other end of the spectrum, so the Yankees stink. We've covered that. The Seattle Mariners, my goodness, we counted them down and out 2 weeks ago. We're sitting here like this Mariners team's dead. They're nowhere to be found. And then all of a sudden they've rattled off.
We kept asking, like, where are they? Like, when are they going to show up? Like, this team is too good to still be here. And then
rattled
did
off
they show up?
8 straight. Maybe they just lost last night, I think. But
they've won 3 straight after winning like eight straight, I want to say. So they're 9-1 in their last 10. And their timing couldn't be better, because
they're sole possession of the AL West now.
They are, and their timing couldn't be better because, of course, they beat up Houston for part of that. But the Texas Rangers have fallen apart the last 2 weeks. The Rangers have been a hot mess.
Yeah, Astros haven't been much better. Astros took care of them.
Yeah, the Astros have been only a little bit better, but Texas has won 1 of their last 10. They are, and they haven't even been really competitive, to be honest. They've lost some games ugly. And so they're hitting a late August kind of swoon here, where they are struggling. They're not playing good baseball. They look like they're being outplayed every night. Houston hasn't been great, and Seattle's been ripping off wins left and right. I did not see Seattle taking over the lead in the division. I definitely thought they'd be a wild card team, but it's been a lot of fun to see that team come right to life.
It's been crazy to see. All right. So kind of tying into that, I put out a rounding third question, which was a poll. And I just said, who wins the AL West? And this is before the Mariners rattled off their crazy, crazy streak. So I've had Astros, Rangers, and Mariners as your choices. 6 people voted for the Astros, 4 for the Rangers. And actually 6 people picked the Mariners to overtake the AL West. So as of right now, Mariners are in the driver's seat for the AL West, which is nuts.
I mean, the question becomes, can the Mariners keep it up? That's always been the question with them, because this team can be Jekyll and Hyde. They are red hot and then absolutely terrible, and you just don't know where you're going to what you're going to get with them. But they're finally playing like they should, or playing better like they should. I still give Houston the nod here with the experience. Seattle's for real. They're finally who we thought they were.
Yep. So another stat from the AL West that I thought was absolutely mind-blowing. The Texas Rangers now have more blown saves than converted saves. They have 25. They have blown 25 saves, and they've only converted 24.
Wow.
Which is crazy. So the thing with blown saves is you could still end up winning the ball game.
You can,
right?
Yep.
You just, give up the lead so it's tied, but they have blown 25 and only converted 24. Thank you, Aroldis Chapman.
Well, I was going to say, we know who's causing that.
Yeah. But I just thought that was a crazy stat. And then for them to still be like where they are, I was like, wow.
Well, and like when you think about our most disappointing team, we put I put Emmanuel Clase as the closer because he personally has blown 9. Granted, Chapman was in Kansas City to start the year, and nobody expected a lot from him, so you can't really be disappointed. But the Rangers went all in on some players here. He was one of them, and that is absolutely not working out. He has been atrocious.
Yeah, it's just
that's going to come back. That trade could end up being what bites them in the end. Is the fact that they kind of wrecked the back end of their bullpen with him.
You just can't put him in the high leverage situations.
He's not who he used to be.
No, absolutely.
He's just not. God love him, but he's not who he used to be.
Absolutely. All right. Let's break up to 7th inning. We got some trivia for you, Harrison.
Oh boy.
And these are all, I got 3 questions for you. They're all based around rookies.
Oh, all right.
Because, there was another 15 rookies that came up and made the Nielve Marte for the Reds came up. They started 7 rookies, I think, the other night against the Diamondbacks. I'm like, it's just insane. It's
they just keep coming. They just keep coming. And, and sadly, Milwaukee's gotten hot and has made up a little distance here. But the Pittsburgh Pirates are we said contender, pretender, and I said clearly a pretender because I did not think they were a playoff team. I thought they'd hang around, but that team just they hit that skid and they've just never recovered.
Yeah, they semi-recovered after the first one.
Yep,
and then just lost all steam. Yeah,
second one was it. They were done, and they've never recovered from it.
Nope. All right.
Too bad.
So, like I said, these trivia questions are based around rookies. So here is our first one.
All right.
Who has the most hits in a season as a rookie?
Oh, that's a good one. Is it modern era or is it we going back a ways?
Modern era. And
is it one of the 3 big shortstops we followed?
No. And he was I'll give you a hint. He was an MLB rookie, but not a baseball rookie.
Ichiro?
Yes, Ichiro. 242 hits his rookie season.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I was thinking back to that 2-year stretch where you had Jeter, A-Rod, and Nomar all come up together. They all had monster first season, but not 242.
242 hits.
I always struggle to think of guys like Ichiro and Yoshida and Matsui. It's hard to think of those guys as rookies because they were pros somewhere else.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give you these next 2 are also in our lifetime. So none of these are
perfect. This is not Skippy Fairbanks from 1920.
No.
Because some of those kill me.
Right. It's yeah. All right. Who is the only MLB rookie to have 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases, and drive in 100?
Oh, wow. 20, 20, and 100. So the names I immediately go to are guys like Bonds.
Nope.
Griffey. No, Griffey didn't start off that fast.
Right position.
Trout.
Nope.
Yes, I don't think Trout got off to that kind of a start. It's not J-Rod.
Not J-Rod. No.
I think he was close. So center fielder.
AL Central.
Oh. 20, 20, 100 in the AL Central.
Also played for the Astros and the Mets.
Beltran,
yep. Carlos
all right.
Beltran. Yep.
Yeah, you said that. I'm like, oh man. It's the Royals. Yeah, Beltran was a monster when he came up with the Royals.
Yep. So this one is probably a little bit tougher. But I still think you could possibly get it. Before Jeremy Pena won the World Series MVP last year, who was the last rookie to win World Series MVP?
Oh boy. World Series MVP. All right.
Not in the 2000s. I'll give you that hint.
Yeah, so I feel like it was from the 90s. You had those Yankees teams, but there weren't any rookies that were winning there. You had.
No. I'll give you the year, 97.
I'll say it's the Marlins team, right?
Marlins, yep.
I'm trying to think who won the MVP. Was that Cabrera?
Nope. Not a position player.
Oh, in 97, Beckett?
Nope. Beckett was 03. I don't think
Oh,
he was
right,
on the
not
Marlins
too
in
early.
97.
97 would have been.
This is a little tougher. Once you hear the name, you'll be like, oh, man.
Yeah, it's not Dontrell, was it?
Nope. Right-handed starter.
Right-handed starter from the 97 Marlins team.
Mm-hmm. I think he actually pitched in Portland, too, as part of the Portland Sea Dogs inaugural season.
Oh, yeah. At that timeline, he probably would have.
Yep.
Oh, it's killing me.
I don't know if I can give you any more hints.
I know. Right-handed power starter, I'm guessing. Guy threw hard.
It's semi-hard, I would think, yeah. He was good during that time.
And did he only play in Florida?
He might have pitched a couple other places. I don't have
I
don't have his IMBD off the top of my head, but
97 Marlins right-handed starter.
LH are his initials.
Oh, Livan Hernandez.
Livan Hernandez, yeah.
I always forget that guy was a rookie because I felt like he pitched forever.
Right. But yeah, so those are my three trivia.
Livan, he was dude. That guy was like the craftiest guy. He threw like 20 pitches from all these different arm angles, and just continued to get people out. I always forget about Livan. He was like a super underappreciated member of that team.
Yeah, and I don't think he was around for terribly long.
He wasn't. That guy.
Did he go to Colorado? Maybe for some reason that's kind of sticking in my head. That could be completely made up, but
no, he went from Florida to San Fran,
and
then he was in Montreal, and then Arizona, and he was in Colorado for a season. Then the Mets, then the Nationals. Like he was all over the place.
Okay,
17 seasons with one.
Oh, he was around for 17. Dang.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like 17 seasons, like 9 teams.
I never would have guessed 17 seasons.
No, it's funny. I wouldn't have guessed that many either. But he had the last couple seasons. He didn't pitch a lot and didn't pitch well. But yeah, he was good in Florida.
Yeah. All right. We are going to head home here and kind of wrap some loose ends up. Some other news in the MLB. Felix Bautista for your Baltimore Orioles also goes down with a UCL tear.
It was a bad week for baseball to see both those guys go down.
Yeah. I mean, luckily, hopefully, Yennier Cano stays healthy. He'll just slide most likely into that closer role. It still leaves a hole in their bullpen because now you lose your setup guy.
Well, and we were just talking about how the back end of that bullpen would be devastating in the playoffs, and then immediately, within a few nights of that show, Bautista goes down. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, brutal. Kills me.
Tough. That's a big loss. I mean, he was so good.
Yep.
And but like with anything, if you have to, move Cano to the 9th inning, now you got to go find somebody else for the 8th inning, and you've now put people in different positions, and this is when stuff can go bad fast.
Yep, agree. Staying with the Orioles, Adam Jones is coming back and retiring as an Oriole on September 15th.
Love it.
Adam Jones, I didn't know he was done. He was still playing. Guess he's been playing over Japan for the last 2 years.
Yep.
So he's coming.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys that he's one of them that have gone over there and played the last few seasons.
Yep. Did he go over before 2020 and then just stay? Maybe.
I think so, because he decided he wanted to travel with his family, I think, and he ended up going to different places and ended up hanging out there and played.
It's crazy. So yeah, he's gonna come back
during the he came back for the softball thing during the All-Star break, right? Because I'm pretty sure they're talking to him about like all the travel he has done. They've lived in like 3 or 4 places since he stopped playing, and he's bringing his kids around the world and playing some baseball while he's at it. And
so cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty nice when you can just be like, yeah, I'm done with MLB. I'll just go cruise the world and play baseball as I want to.
Yeah, right. Let's see. What do we go here? While we're on the retirement train, it looks like Steven Strasburg is planning on officially retiring in September. We all kind of knew this was coming. He had that chronic shoulder issue that's not going away, and he's not going to recover from it.
No.
To the point where they don't even think he's going to be able to throw overhand ever again. It just really stinks.
his quality of life is impacted at this point.
Yeah. And I mean, this guy put the Nationals on his back in 2019. I mean, between him and Soto and a couple big bombs by Rendon, which got him paid, which led him nowhere. But I mean, 2019 was all about Strasburg and what he did for that Nationals team. And it cost him his career, which really sucks. Because coming out of college, he was highly touted. I mean, it was crazy to watch his journey, and it just stinks that we're not going to be able to see him anymore on the mound. Which
and when you look at prime Strasburg, like he was must see TV. He was lights out. He did. I mean, he carried that team, and he really was the one that gave them hope. Like he was the hope.
Yeah. It's just tough to see any injury like that, I mean, and he was just so dominant in that stretch. It was absolutely crazy. But
prime Steven Strasburg was stupid good.
Yeah. All right. Before we get to them, the Mets have announced that they are going to retire Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry's numbers next year, which kind of cool, I guess. I mean,
it's Steve Cohen showing that he is a fan and he gets what the fans want. And do they belong retired? Maybe not. But in terms of Mets lore, they're on the mountain.
Yep.
There's a whole generation of Mets fans that are Mets fans because of those two.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last thing I have tonight is the Chicago White Sox completely clean out the entire front office. As they should.
Yeah, it's bad.
They just need to fold that organization. There was even rumors that they're possibly thinking about relocation. I don't remember where I saw that. It might have just been like a post I saw, but I don't ever see the Chicago White Sox moving unless it gets like real bad.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that you up and leave Chicago after all those years. I saw the same thing too. The organization's considering all options and is considering what a relocation would look like, but there's no way you're gonna pick that organization up and move them somewhere else after all the years in Chicago. That would be crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it and I can't find it. There was like a meme going around with Eloy Jimenez about the front office or something like that, but I can't remember what it said. But good story, Nick. Yeah.
Way to break that news,
right?
Nick.
I don't know where to go with the Chicago White Sox from here, honestly.
Well,
I mean,
and then we were laughing because they fired the front office and they brought Tony La Russa back as like a special advisor. And I'm like, wait a second. Are they saying the front office was the problem and La Russa wasn't?
Yeah.
I mean, I get that when it comes to baseball, there's few people that know more and have more experience in the game than La Russa. I get the value he adds. He clearly can't be a day-to-day manager anymore because he can't stay awake. But when it comes, the guy's forgotten more about baseball than we'll all ever know. But it's hilarious to fire La Russa. I guess you didn't technically fire La Russa last year. He just didn't come back for medical reasons, which is basically, we're going to fire you, so go away. And then you clear out the front office and bring him right back immediately, which is, it's just that organization is such a hot mess.
Yeah.
And they don't know whether they're coming or going, and it almost doesn't matter because they're headed to irrelevancy very fast.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know, other than Luis Robert Jr., I don't know who else you keep. I mean, Dylan Cease at this point, after the season he just had, I don't know if you try to trade him away. I mean, he can have Cy Young stuff.
I mean, I think the Cease is too talented. I think the best play for him is just to get out of there. Get in the off seasons, just say, I want out, send me somewhere. Just get me out of town. Tim Anderson's got to go. They got to trade Dylan. I mean, honestly, Yohan Moncada got to go. He's, not working out. So I think the White Sox have to get serious about, tearing this thing to the ground and starting over, because you got a lot of players that you're paying pretty good money to that aren't producing. And you've got a lot of players that just don't fit. Like we talked about it in the spring. Like, that's a talented roster. That team should have been competing for the division.
Agree.
But clearly they've got a personality problem where they just can't all get along. And of course, the minute Tim Anderson shows his glass jaw, the organization implodes with all the news about what really happens inside that place. It's bad.
Yeah.
You just need to get rid of them all and start over.
Yep. Yeah. So we will see what happens with that organization in the off season. One other thing I did see today, that there was news broke that Pete Alonso is most likely going to be traded in the off season.
Yeah, I saw that too. I'm not sure where I saw it. I thought that maybe it was a rumor, but how do the Mets replace him? Unless they don't want to. I mean, Cohen made it very clear. They pivoted quickly. We're in win in 2025 mode right now. 2024 is a rebuilding bridge transition year, whatever you want to call it. We're going to win in 25. 23 is done. 24 is a rebuild. 25 is the next year we expect to be competitive. Maybe it's time to move on from him.
The dude just dropped $474 million on a team this year, and then just was like, screw it. Like, it's not working. And he's paying
on a team that is in last place in their division, 11 games under 500.
And he's paying $140 million to other teams. Like,
yep.
That is stupid money. I can't even imagine just being like, oh yeah, I'll pay $140 million to the Texas Rangers so they can pay Scherzer. Like, blows my mind. Just stupid.
And what's funny is that there are people inside of baseball that are like, this is the smartest owner we've ever seen. Like, he's willing to just cut his losses and dump the money and move on. There's others that are like, you weren't even going to try to fix it with all that money you've invested. Like, you went from your press conference where they need to play better to screw it, chuck the hand grenade and start over. I mean, I don't know if he's a genius or if he's crazy.
You know that scene from The Dark Knight when Heath Ledger just lights that entire mountain of cash on fire? Literally what Steve Cohen just did.
Literally. And the scary part is that Cohen, the scary part in this whole thing is that Cohen's the kind of owner that's got the kind of money to do that.
Yeah.
He can light $140 million on fire and he will sleep just fine tonight and be back tomorrow.
This is crazy. Because if I light $1.40 on fire, I'm crying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people understand like the level of wealth this guy has. It's not. He's not on the same playing field as every other owner. It's not even close.
No.
He's going to do stuff we've never seen before, like this.
Man, no.
Like field a $300-something million ball club that he dismantles and pays half the money to go away. Like, and the biggest winners in all this are the Houston Astros, who got Justin Verlander back and only have to pay half his salary.
We're not even half, I don't
this
think.
year and next year.
Right. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they're gonna, trade Alonso at his peak, get something for him, bring up some young players, see what you got.
Yeah,
but
crazy.
The Mets are an interesting. There'll be a case study that Harvard Business School does years from now about, how to either how to run an organization correctly or incorrectly.
Yeah.
It'll be one or the other.
Yep. And both books will be about Steve Cohen.
Right. Either way. Yeah. We'll see how this plays out. He'll either be a hero or a zero here, but I will say he acts quickly and he's decisive and he's not afraid to reverse course.
Sweet. All right. Do you have anything else tonight?
I do. I was waiting for you to mention Rafaela.
Oh yeah. Forgot. Yes. So the Red Sox just called up Rafaela. He played third base though, right? Where are they going to put him?
I don't know. I mean, he's one of those guys where they think he can play probably anywhere.
My guess is second base. That's where they're going to stick him.
I have to imagine that's where the need is. You're not going to move Raffy.
No.
I could see him getting some time at second. He's athletic enough. Maybe if Story needs a night off, he could play short. I think he's the kind of guy they're going to move around, see where he fits. But that guy is going to bring some energy and excitement to that ball club because he does stuff that nobody on that team does.
Nope. You're right. And honestly, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but the Sox are actually playing decent baseball right now.
They are hanging on. I mean, there's back to 7 games over 500. They're 4.5 games out in the wild card, 12.5 games out in the division. They do have a tough September ahead of them. So
they do. I don't think they have a Seattle Mariners run in them. But it's crazy. So I saw this comparison today.
Yep.
Do you know how hot the Seattle Mariners are during the same
how hot are they, Nick?
during the same stretch that the Rays had at the beginning of the season? What was it? They were like 35-7 or whatever.
Yeah, it was insane. They didn't lose for like a whole
the
month.
The Mariners are 36-6. They're one game better than that
Oh.
in this stretch right now. So they are just like absolutely killing it.
And they're doing it in all phases, just like the Rays were. They're doing it with everything. It's great pitching, great defense, timely hitting,
but
power when they need it.
I'm bringing that up because I don't think the Red Sox have a 36-6 stretch in them, is what I'm saying.
The thing is, though, like
they don't need that.
So I picked this Red Sox team to finish around 500 because I knew, there's not a lot of depth. They're one injury away, and they've played a little better than I thought. September they could give it all back, but this team, honestly, this is a team built where if they can get enough pitching, they could go rip off, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row. They just can't consistently get the pitching to do it.
Yeah.
I love Bayo. He's still a little Jekyll and Hyde. Paxton's a little Jekyll and Hyde. Houck got toasted the other day. You just don't know what you're going to get for pitching anymore. Or I shouldn't say you haven't known all season. If they could just get enough pitching for a couple of weeks, they could rip off a streak, but they just can't seem to get it, and they can't build that momentum. The Red Sox have been win a couple, lose one, win a couple, lose one, win a couple, lose one, win a couple, lose 5, win a couple, lose 5. Like it's, and even right now they're playing pretty good baseball. They've won 6 of their last 10. They've played good. Like they have, again, not great. They're 7 games over 500. When you look at they're right on their expected win-loss. They've played exactly to their stats. There's nothing special here, nothing fancy here. They are kind of who they are.
Yeah. We'll see.
And they've got a tough September. We'll see if they are gonna make a run, they need to do it right now because they're gonna be going up against a lot of the teams that are ahead of them.
Yep. I agree. My eyes are strictly on the AL West right now. That race is going to be crazy this last month, and I think they all play each other a handful of times.
They do. I think it's a slugfest right to the end.
So we were kind of worried about that with the balanced schedule. Like, how is that going to work out? Are they going to play games in division, or some of them are going to be out of division? There are a couple weird matchups in there for all the teams, but I think ultimately, there's one matchup. Maybe the Mariners don't play the Astros again, or something like that. But I think each one of them do match up at some point. So it'll be a great race to watch down the stretch.
And I do want to point out, Nick, and I'm surprised you didn't mention this, your Arizona Diamondbacks are back in the wild card.
They are. They've won
8 of their last 10. They've played really, really well. San Francisco's hit a bit of a rough spot. They've lost, 7 of their last 10. San Diego continues to just suck out there. Nobody knows what they're doing.
Dude, there's a picture of Juan Soto like face planting into the outfield wall trying to go back on a ball, and it literally is like the Padres season in one snapshot. It's like, it is.
I love the video you sent me with the old cartoon where the 3 guys in a row strike out. It's like San Diego Padres, bases loaded, nobody else, a sac fly wins it. It's like, Tatis 3 strikes, Soto 3 strikes, Machado 3 strikes, then it's Anchorman, F you, San Diego.
Right.
Because that's how fans must feel.
Yeah.
This team, literally, they have chances to win and they just throw them away.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. It's just so sad.
It is. Corbin Carroll is back for the Diamondbacks.
Is he ever? He's had a week.
This dude has been raking. He almost had an inside the Parker the other day. Did you see that throw by Ellie De La Cruz?
It was a missile. Had a vapor trail.
It was
on the back.
99.6, I think.
7.
It's 7. Sorry.
99.7. It was a missile.
Oh, God. You heard that through the TV. It was like...
The only time I've seen a throw like that was like the old days of Vlad Guerrero when he would throw those laundry hangers from out there. But
oh my God,
that thing was a rocket. And if not for the fact that it was a missile that was accurate, Corbin Carroll's good. He's safe. He's going.
He looked like he threw that effortlessly too.
He did.
Like,
he just
caught it on his back heels, kind of turned and just like unleashed it, and it was just an absolute cannon.
Could you imagine what that guy could do on the mound if he actually like wound up? I mean, he's like flat-footed throwing 99.
It's disgusting. First of all, I don't
It's
want to
just not
see
right.
anybody that's 6'7" or above on the pitcher's mound.
No.
Well, I don't care if they're throwing 45. I'm just be like, dude, you're standing on top of me. Can you back up a few feet?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was crazy. But yeah,
that whole play was nuts.
Yep.
And the Cincinnati Reds are a game and a half out in the wild card. Your Chicago Cubs are hanging on.
they are. That NL wild card is going to be a race for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. The races I'm watching right now are the AL West and the NL Central, more so because of the wild card component of that.
Yeah.
You know, the Cubs are hanging on. The Cincinnati Reds are hanging on. Both teams that were not necessarily expected to be where they are. St. Louis continues to suck wind and nobody cares. Arizona's back in it. San Francisco is struggling. It's going to be a good September because there's still a lot of teams that are hanging around.
Yeah, insane.
And the last thing I got for you tonight, Nick, is Players of the Week last week. It was Adam Duvall of the Red Sox, who had a really monster week, which is good because he had been ice cold there for a while.
Yep.
And Mookie Betts, who hit his 35th home run at Fenway and got a nice warm reception.
Yep. So I think they just released the odds, and he's now the NL MVP favorite.
He's now the odds on NL MVP favorite, which, you know, Acuna will hit 2 home runs, steal 5 more bases, and that'll change.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, Betts and Acuna, I mean, that's
the season that
flip a coin.
Mookie Betts is having right now is it hurts. It really hurts.
It does because this is who he is. He's been so good the last few years, and he continues. I feel like he gets better, but I mean,
I just don't know how
I get why they did what they did.
See, I don't. I don't. Like, Mookie wanted to be in Boston. He wanted to stay. And he's a generational talent. I don't know how the Red Sox listen, I love the long-term deal that they finally made with Devers. I think it was the right move.
Yep.
For now. Mookie Betts should have been the first one. Like, Mookie Betts was our Aaron Judge, our Mike Trout. Like, what are the Boston Red Sox doing with that? Like, You have to find every way possible to not let Mookie Betts go. And then as soon as he gets traded, he signs the extension with the Dodgers. I mean, come on. If that's not the ultimate slap in the face that the Red Sox could have given him an extension and he would have been happy.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It killed me.
What's interesting too is that the Red Sox committed basically the same money to Devers as they would have had to Betts. And honestly, like, love Raffy, but if I'm picking between the two, I'm taking Mookie.
1,000%.
You know, I think Mookie was 12 years, 360. Devers was 10 or 11 at 330. So you're talking basically the same. You're $30 million a season to either guy. I just don't think this organization was prepared to sign that kind of contract when the time came up, and Mookie wasn't going to lift. He wanted the long-term deal. He wanted the big money. He was kind of wishy-washy about staying or going. And I think they looked at it as, we're not in a position to be able to make this kind of commitment right now because we got a lot of friggin' messes to clean up coming off the Dombrowski year where he gutted the whole system. And I just think I think it was a timing issue. I think they would have signed him. I just don't think they could have. And, you know, they turned him into Connor Wong and Verdugo, and, you know, it hasn't been a total loss, but it's hard to watch him play like he does and realize he could have been here for the same money as you're giving Devers. And I love Devers, but Devers is not Mookie.
Yeah.
So, and you know, Adam Duvall had a great week. Betts had a great week. I loved seeing Betts get a good reception because the fans like him. I mean, he didn't leave on bad terms. He just didn't get the deal he wanted, and the Dodgers gave it to him.
Yeah, it was just, it just hurts. I mean,
it hurts.
Yeah. Anyways, I digress for maybe an off-season topic.
I blame Dombrowski for not putting them in a position to be able to re-sign him. I blame that because Dombrowski wrecked this organization on his way out the door.
Yep.
He got us a World Series ring in 18. Hooray.
Yeah.
But he absolutely wrecked this organization doing it, which is what he does.
Yep. Absolutely fair. All right. Anything else for this week?
No, I think that's all the news. Yeah. It was a good week in baseball.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Crazy one with the injuries, crazy one with the Seattle Mariners coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, the Red Sox are getting their heads pounded in tonight. They were up like 5 minutes ago, now they're down by 5.
Yeah.
They were up 4-2, and now it's 9-4, or 4-3. Now it's 9-4.
Crazy.
The pitching will make you nuts.
Yep.
It really will.
Absolutely.
I got a question for you, Nick.
Okay.
So in that NL Central, assuming one of those teams is going to take a wild card spot, I would assume Cubs or Reds. Who has the staying power to get through September and still be there?
I think the Cubs right now because they have the pitching. I mean, the Reds should have the pitching, but they don't. Like, they have injuries. They're question mark. Ashcraft has come back. He looks okay.
He doesn't look right.
No.
He looks good, but not like he did.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Steele, the guy that
Who?
I notoriously left off the top
Who?
100.
Yeah.
Um,
Who's Justin Steele?
I don't know. He's only like leading the NL in wins or something like that now, I think. Oh,
yeah, it's fine.
My bad, Morgan. But
he was 101. Don't worry, we had him on the list.
Yeah, he was 100.5. Like I was. I mean, they have some arms that are going to keep him in, and I think they have the leadership. Like Swanson's been there before.
Yep.
Bellinger's played on great teams. He knows what it takes. So I think ultimately it's the Cubs. I think the Reds youth kind of fizzles out a little bit, and it kind of already has. Like, I know, like Sean said it, like when we were covering the top 100, like I did rank Ellie De La Cruz like really high, but
like grotesquely high. But he's so good.
But I mean, those 2 weeks of baseball when he came up, like I've never seen a guy energize MLB like that for that stretch of time. Like it was.
He changes games. He wrecks games.
He does, and it was the craziest thing I've seen for 2 weeks, and that's why I ranked him that high. But it's really fizzling out. Matt McClain just went on the IL with a oblique strain, so that's a big bat out of their lineup. He's out. Spencer Steer is still ridiculous. They're just young, man. I just think that's it. But the Reds will be good, and they're going to be here the next few years. They're going to challenge. Their pitching staff's going to get more seasoned. They're going to get more MLB experience, and their guys got good stuff. They're going to be okay. If Hunter Green can stay healthy, if Ashcraft learns how to pitch,
not give up 7 home runs.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be in good shape. They keep this youth core together for the next, 3, 4, 5 years. They'll be in good shape. So we'll see. But I don't think they quite get there. If they do, it's because the Diamondbacks fall out again and they kind of, sneak in that way. That's kind of the only way I see that happening. And who knows about this San Francisco Giants? I don't know if they're going to turn it around or not. So the NL wild card along with the AL West, I think those are the 2 big races we got to keep an eye on. I think those are the tightest for sure.
Yeah, a month ago I would have picked the Reds based on talent and how they're playing. But I do think, having watched the last couple weeks, that Cubs team is really gelling. Heimer Candelario is a highly underrated trade. He's been great for them, and he's steadied them.
Yeah.
But I do think when you look at the leadership of the Cubs with Dansby Swanson and Cody Bellinger, adding a guy like Candelario who's really stabilized them, taking some of the weight off of Wisdom, I think that Cubs team probably hangs on. Could the Reds do it? Absolutely. I just feel like they don't quite have it to get there. I think that the Cubs are going to be a little more steady through September, and the Reds are going to be a little more kind of frantic like they have been.
The Reds will have their day. It's coming.
They will.
It's coming sooner rather than later. A lot sooner than we ever thought. Yep. I mean, we didn't even give the Reds a flying chance this year.
No.
I mean, you look at the product they put on the field last year, and the preseason picks, we were like, the Reds, are they even in the MLB? I mean, we
were wondering if they have one of the worst records in baseball. I mean, they had all these young guys that we didn't know. We're like, geez, they're running out this roster of guys, and some of them can't even buy a beer.
Right.
Like, what are they going to do? And they've been ridiculously good.
Yeah. So crazy. So I think that and the AL West are definitely the 2 races to watch. I don't think there's really any other. I mean, maybe the bottom of the AL East just to see who gets into that wild card spot. But even then,
Yeah.
I don't think it's nearly as exciting as the NL wild card and the AL West right now.
Yeah. And, live update, the Texas Rangers are losing at the end of 8, and Seattle's playing in Oakland. So
nice. Pretty good.
And Houston's beating up on the Red Sox. So
yeah, surprise there. And they're in Fenway, right? The Astros came to Fenway. Yeah, because they just played in Houston, so they're at Fenway.
Yeah, they're in Boston. So the Mariners could potentially, pick up another game on the Rangers, and Rangers could be in 3rd place when the night is over.
Crazy. All right. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. So thanks again for Cam Beckwith and Nolan Beckwith for joining us tonight and reliving Williamsport with us tonight. And thanks for everybody that tuned in and listened to that. It was crazy fun to talk that whole summer through with them. But yeah, that was easily by far my favorite show ever. So
that was fantastic. What a cool story.
So thank you, you two, and everybody that watched and tuned in. Please like, subscribe. You can share our podcast. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast. And we will be on again next Monday at 8 p.m.